these screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Refer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempt a mental robbery, executed sloppily. The hypocrisy, this mockery, and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
Sweet eternal balance, fall that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Welcome back to Rogue Soul, where today it is time for September Tarot Oracle. So we're going to look into the economy, our physical health, mental and emotional health messages, our romance messages, societal messages, spiritual messages, and the overall message for September. These readings always give you some insight into what is going to be coming at you, but more importantly than that, because no one can actually predict the future, we can predict very good likelihoods. And often when I am doing future tarot messages like this, they're exactly accurate. Technically, though, anything could change at any time. And so really what's most important is that we're learning how we can orient ourselves. We're learning what we can do about whatever comes our way. We're learning what is best for us to keep in mind as we move into these energies. And that's what's really important about this. So hopefully you are going to get so much insight out of these readings, as you always do every month here on Rogue Soul. And so we'll get into what the messages are. Let us do that. And first, I'd like to, of course, invite you to roguesoul.org or rogueways.substack.com. These are the two sites that I have. Roguesoul.org is where you can find everything I do. My books are here. You can schedule sessions with me if you want to get your own tarot reading. This is how you would do it. You can also take my classes, sign up for those. You can find the orgone if you want to uplift the space you're in, uplift your own spiritual practice, your meditation, your prayer. That's all here at Rogue Soul. So there's so much to get into there. And if you like to read content as well, I'm also an author. And aside from my books, I do have my articles that I publish on health, on wellness, on society, on philosophy, on ancient history, alternative history, all the things that I love, essentially, I write about. And that's all here on rogueways.substack.com. Substack is the best way also to support the show. If you become a paid supporter, you're supporting what you love. You're getting these tarot readings, these fantastic episodes, the winning report every week, all of this deep content that I do, let's be honest, better than most people. And so, that is all there for free. So if you want to support what I do, this is what I rely on for people like you who love this content to give back in some way. And rogueways.substack.com is the way to do that. And if you do that, you also get the channeled messages that come through from the spiritual ancestors. So packing even more punch than a tarot reading, just like the spiritual guidance sessions that I offer to people where I channel your spirit guides. These are full of deep content, beautiful energy. And as you're connecting with them, it's also its own form of blessing because you're connecting with some of the highest energies that we have access to on earth. And so these are really uplifting. They're also beautiful. They also give you insight to what's coming at you in the future, why, and our best way of orienting ourselves. Again, just like the tarot reading does, but a little bit deeper, a little bit more mystically magical. And that's all there at rogueways.substack.com. So I really would love if you go sign up either for free, get all of the free articles, there's so many of them, or become a supporter. And that is so important for what I do. So thank you all who do that. rogueways.substack.com. So we'll start here with September's energies. We've got our economy card first. So what's coming at us economically, or rather, again, how can we orient ourselves around what's coming at us economically? And in September, we're seeing more of this oppression energy. We've been seeing this. This card's been coming up in a lot of readings, especially for the economic position, sometimes also in the overall, to remind us that like everything's a little rough right now. There's a lot of energies that are trying to oppress us. We have a couple options here with this reversal. And one of those is that a lot of people aren't even going to see the oppression. So that's kind of common. That's kind of how history goes. That's how humans go. There might be a lot of people that remain blind to it and don't even notice they're being oppressed. And you know what it makes me think of actually is this thing where Walmart and I think Target and some of these bigger box stores are starting to do this manipulative pricing. And I've been talking about it a bit. If you're watching Winning Reports regularly, you've been hearing about it. And They're going at it different ways, but what they want to do is make it so that nobody actually knows the price of anything, and that the price can change at any moment. It can change in two ways. One, they're talking about it changing at like flux times or rush times. So if there's a lot of people and they're after this, the price will go up. And the other way is that it changes based on you and what they think you would be willing to spend on this, what you have access to. And they know you just as well, if not better, than you might know yourself. Unfortunately, they study you like a book. So all this information you've been pouring into social media and online and whatever you've got on your computers, because that's not safe, let's be honest, and everything you're saying on your phone or texting to people and everything you're saying near your phone, because they listen to you all the time. That used to be a conspiracy theory. Now it's an open secret. All of this information they have, so they know what you want. They know how bad you want it. They know what you have access to in order to pay for it. And so they know what to charge you for it. You can't deny this has already been happening. I don't know that what I look up on Amazon is any different than what you look up, but it's likely. If this has been talked about, planned, and even rolled out and pulled back a few times in American society, then probably Amazon's telling me whatever I want to hear, whatever they know they can get away with. Maybe not, right? But that's what they're talking about. That's what Walmart and Target are already doing. And the way that Walmart and Target are doing it is literally just not putting prices on things. And you have to have an app on your phone, scan the barcode, and it'll tell you what it thinks you should see. Now, remember, most of our phones and most of our devices now also have all kinds of permissions built in that they're allowed to sense nearby devices. So they can also, even if you're like, well, I'll bring a friend and we'll both check and we'll see. Well, they know you're right next to each other and they know you're friends. So they could also just tell you both that price. And then someone comes up 10 minutes later who they know has way less money or way less desire to even buy this product. And they'll just drop the price $5, right? Just to try to get them. So this is what's happening. And so this is the type of oppression a lot of people might not notice. You might not know. So you might just think, oh yeah, it's just an app. You just scan it. It's just what we're doing for no reason, apparently. I don't know why. And they might not notice it. The other reversal here and the other energy here is that the people who do notice it, they have an escape route. This card always comes with this escape route. You can see the creatures shown here are both protected by this white winged figure. This is grace. This is source. This is spirit that is always guiding us through, that when we're connected, or even sometimes when we're not, it's ushering us just past the spears coming down on our head, just in time for us to not get crushed under it. And we have this escape route, as you can see in the corner of this card. So that's actually emphasized in the reversal. So it might also be for many of us, because if you're listening to this, you probably will notice the oppression when it comes, because that's who you are. You're a winner. You're a critical thinker. For many of us, we will have this ability to avoid, escape, or maybe even overturn some of this oppression. So not an unhopeful card. It doesn't mean the oppression's not trying to get us. It just means like, oh, well, good luck with that, oppressors. So that's our economy card for September. We'll watch out for some of those things, and we will remember that even if it feels like it's like a lot and it's inescapable, there's always an escape. There's always an escape route for you. Trust your process, trust your path, trust your commitment to not being an oppressed person. So we'll move on then to our physical health energy. And this is the card of Ra. This is the Father of Swords in this deck. And this is a person who's quite intelligent, perhaps even esoterically enlightened to some degree. Is also a leader, or can be a leadership type of energy. In this case, it is a leader. It is a male. This is what I'm being told about this card. And their reversal here is a couple different things. One, someone who is attempting to lead us well in our physical health is not quite able to, or is being stopped from doing quite what they want to do. I see this as RFK. He, like him or not, he is actively trying to do positive things for people's health. He might also be trying to do things that are negative, but it doesn't seem that he means to. So this would be more of the sort of technocratic aspect. And that might also be part of this reversal, is that some of the things he's behind, maybe he feels genuinely like they are for people's best interest, but they are not quite. So this also comes with, this energy of sort of arrogance. When someone like the Father of Swords is in a reverse state, they're a bit too sure of themselves. They're a bit too arrogant. They're a bit too caught up in their role and their energy of that and, the dominance of it. And not so much like a, angry or getting into abuse sort of energy, but just in the arrogance, at least, and the not quite seeing clearly. And so therefore having the ability to lead people astray. So this is definitely coming at us in September in some deeper way. Again, I would look mostly towards RFK. He just also got implanted or chosen, who knows which, deputy secretary, so like right under him in Health and Human Services, and he that person is a severe technocrat. So RFK's got some technocrat flavors, but he's not quite like big into it. It's just might be, again, a little bit of ignorance, a little bit of arrogance, not quite understanding what he's doing perhaps in those realms. But this person's now been installed and they're quite technocratic. So we probably are going to see some more of the technocratic aspect in our health. We've already seen it, the warning signs of it. We've already seen they want to get all these big, tech and AI companies into our health information and give us all access at any time. It's on your phone. You can see all your records, and sounds nice, right? But this is like a step towards being sort of consumed by this overarching technocratic system, which would be hard to escape once we're in. We're also seeing this variations of the injections that are supposedly, better and less genetically manipulating, but may have technocratic implementation around them. We're also seeing this idea that you're going to put sort of nanobots or very small receptors into your body via a pill or an injection, which will then report to your phone and then be uploaded to that same sort of system that's going to give you access to all your information. So a lot of people are going to like that. A lot of people are going to think that's really cool. That's a direction I personally am not going, and you don't have to either, but we might see more of that kind of pushed in September. So that's what our health and wellness card is showing us. We'll move on now to our mental and emotional health, and this is actually our best energy in the month of September. Is despite a lot of these things going on, we're going to have a strong sense of self. This is the Isis card. This is the Daughter of Swords. So a very similar energy to what we just saw, but the other half of it, right? The feminine side of it and the very empowered side of it. And it's upright, right? So we've got this in our mental and emotional health area, because this is what we're going to have more access to in September. And again, Isis, she represents so much goodness. She's got a lot of confidence. She's got a lot of intelligence. She really trusts herself. She knows what her path is. She's dedicated to it. She has a lot of commitment to herself and others' well-being. And she doesn't really stop for anything. Nothing can stop her. So she's this sort of divine, empowered, feminine aspect. And so for our mental and emotional health, that really says that we want to both intentionally fall back on and maybe inculcate or engender some more of our confidence, some more of our trust in ourselves, or at least honor that we've got what we've got and that we have some trust in ourselves. We have some confidence. We have this high intelligence leading us. And this intelligence is in two forms. One, because we research and we listen and we think and we study and we use logic. And that type of intelligence is definitely indicated here. But you can see her also in this card. She's connected to a higher source energy too. So an intelligence that comes from beyond our logical mind is also involved in this. So again, this goes back to almost that, what we were talking about with the oppression card, and that's going to connect to every card actually today, is that there's always a way through, a way out. We're always guided. We're always protected. And the more you know that and trust that, the better that goes. So this is our mental and emotional space. We're going into September with some really good energies here that we can either tap into and grow more of, or that we've already got really solidly and we want to depend on to get us through a lot of the other energies of September that are a bit rougher. So that's our emotional and mental message for September. Good stuff going on here. So we'll move into our romance card, and in the romance area of September, we've got Bridget. She's the Daughter of Cups. So we've got a lot of higher stations on the court cards coming in September. And so that's really interesting too. This is usually a higher level of self-growth and self-realization and identification. And it goes a couple ways when we get a lot of those energies. Sometimes people really resist, reject, and go against that. And so we go deeper into our identities in a negative way. And sometimes we really embrace the messages and the energies and the growth, and we go into even more blossoming and releasing of some of our old, negative aspects of our identity. So, well, some reversals, some uprights, but a lot of court card energies, and that's usually what that indicates. And so we've got Bridget here, Daughter of Cups, and she's reversed in the place of our romance. And Bridget, when she's reversed, she's got those standing stones you can see here around her, and she's got those standing stones as a wall against entry to that cave we see, which is the entry to her heart. And so Bridget is really in her reverse state, not in the best energy and orientation, especially for romance. She's in the rejection of, the walls against, the you can't have access to this. This is too sacred. This is too special. Like, I've been hurt before, right? Nobody gets to come in anymore. And that's the sort of energy we've got in romance in September. So again, this is always true for the people who don't yet have their romantic partner manifested in their life, and those that do. We both need to think about this. So if you don't yet, what this is saying is, be careful who you're rejecting. You might actually want to think about letting those walls down a little bit more. And it doesn't mean bring everyone just straight into the heart and like no boundaries, right? That's not what that means. It just means like, don't reject so easily. Don't hold up so many walls. Let people in a little bit more at least. And you might be surprised what you get out of that. They might also have been hurt. They might also have walls. And so if two people with walls are trying to connect, like, that's not going to happen. Right? So try to get a little bit more vulnerable, a little bit more open, a little bit more access to your heart. And for the people who we're already in those relationships, this would be similar, right? It's like, lower your defenses a little bit. Look at where you're too reactive. Look at where you're saying like, no, I have a boundary here and I never let this boundary down. We've built those for good reasons. So this isn't saying don't trust yourself and don't have boundaries, but it's saying sometimes we overcorrect. Right. And even with the people we love most and we've been with and we trust them, we still have got this like hard edge we developed from years of hurt, of pain. Right. And so look at where we're doing that. We do this best actually in our relationships that are a bit longer term and deeper. These are the opportunities we have to really see, where have we hardened? Where have we hardened unnecessarily now, necessary before, but no longer necessary? And where can we start to soften, have a little bit more to give the other person, have a little bit more to offer them, and to bring them in a little deeper to our heart center? And that can be really good for both parties. So look at that for yourself if you're in a relationship. Like I said, maybe open up a little bit more if you're on the dating scene and you're, checking some people out. Just get a little bit more vulnerable there, and that might open up some whole new arenas of growth all around. So that's our romance energy for September. And so we'll go into our societal energy. This is often your friends, your family, your coworkers, or society at large. Or it's all of it is kind of percolating through. We seem to mirror things at multiple layers as humans, so that's how that tends to work. And so in that arena, we have science here, the Six of Swords, and it is also reversed. This tends to be when we're like holding on to logic a little too hard, right? And this is really similar to the Bridget energy we just talked about, actually. It doesn't seem so on the surface, but it's actually really similar. We're holding on to logic a little too hard because it's what we've needed to combat something, right? And actually, I can see how all sides of current societal divisions think they're doing that. They think they're being really logical. They think they're holding up fact and, this is how it is. This is logical. But both sides are going to have some space to identify where what they thought was logic led them astray. Or even that, yeah, sure, this is all true. It's all factual. It's all logic. But like, why do you need to hurt everyone, right? Like, why do you need to throw that in someone's face? Or why do you need to like cut them with that sword? Speaking of swords energy, right? And so where, again, just like Bridget, where can you like let it down? It doesn't mean you're going to lie. It doesn't mean you're going to let go of facts. It doesn't mean you're going to become illogical and irrational. It just means like, where can you kind of loosen a little bit and say, yeah, that is logical, but also like, this is a human, and where can I bring some compassion into it? Right? I've been using logic a little too hard. I've been using the facts a little too much. I've been relying on the data a bit more than I've been relying on the heart. So this is an imbalance of the sword's energy, and the sword's energy is our mental energy. It's our mind. And so, and again, it's the card of science. It's like the epitome of the sword's energy. So, facts, data, all of this stuff, it's like doesn't make the whole human experience, right? So there's always gray areas, and we want to really get into those in September, especially on the societal area, especially where we're divided, because our divisions right now are really where the action's at. Our big breaks from each other and our big, gulches of, canyon of space that we've opened up between ourselves, and we're on this side and you're on that side, and everybody, they're good. They're really good. They're actually clarifying like who we are and what we want and what we're about and how we're going to move forward. It's not bad. But we want to remember to keep the human element, the heart element, the compassion element while we're doing that. Okay. So that's the goal for our societal, with our friends group, with our family group, with society at large. When you're fighting with people on the internet or whatever, this is what you want to keep in mind. It's more effective, actually. You've got the facts, but you've also got the heart. The combination can't be stopped. So work on that in September. Our spiritual energy is swords upright. It's a 3 of swords, and it's a card of mourning. Mourning as in sadness, grief, loss. Mourning as in there is a wound and it's not really healing. And so we've got to separate out and just let go of what was. And this is almost always the case that this is loss or separation of people, of friends groups, of even family. And so you see here these swords, there's 2 on one side, 1 on the other. There's a separation going on here. They're no longer united or together. And so you really want to, acknowledge that at the spiritual level, this is necessary sometimes. It's good to let go sometimes when it seems like someone or group or, a section of society no longer accepts you, or it's just not working anymore. This actually happens for a reason. There's actually spiritual reasons, and as we were just saying, it actually clarifies, right, who you are, what you want, where you're going, what it's all about for you. And so it's going to happen continuing, again, for those exact reasons. This is what we're going through as a collective. It is clarifying for everyone involved. It doesn't matter who's wrong or right, actually. It matters what you're doing for yourself and what you're clarifying about yourself and your identity. And so, keep that in mind, that this is actually spiritual progress and situation. And this is similar to the card of alchemy, right? This is just kind of pointing out like this is continuing to happen even at really what seem like base levels or mundane levels or maybe even unimportant levels. It's actually very important to clarify, I am part of this group, I'm not part of that group. And again, it's not about dehumanizing or, saying that group it's just saying like, that doesn't serve me. And this is actually who I am. And this is more important, is to be true to who I am. So that's the spiritual energy and message for September. That's continuing to go on with all of the forces we talked about and all of the cards that have come up so far. They're all part of this process. And a final message is that this is hard. This whole process is hard. September is going to be more clarification, more purification, more, again, grief, separation, mourning, and loss, but also coming together in that romance card and some of that mental and emotional energy we saw. We're coming together too. We're just coming together with like. We're separating out and we're coming together with like forms. So it is hard. It is often very challenging to stay in your highest mind in these situations. It's very challenging to stay in your highest heart in these situations, or it can be very challenging to do that. And so that's what the Chariot is representing here in our overall message for September. And it's in its reversed state because of how challenging that is. It's in its reversed state because we might forget that this is actually all good and serving us and everyone else too. We might forget that this process is actually natural and that as hard and difficult and challenging as it might seem, it serves the highest good. It serves our highest good and everyone's highest good. So we might forget that. We might feel detached from that knowing. We might forget that we're supported in it. We might forget that we're guided in it. But we saw in the oppression card that guidance. We saw in our mental and emotional wellness that trust in that guidance. And so it's a really challenging month of just keeping that in focus, despite whatever comes up in the economy, in our physical health, in our leadership, in our society, in our romantic relationships, keeping that truth that you actually are rolling through it all. You're not failing. You're not falling down. Even when you fall down, it's as part of the process. It's okay, you get back up. This is actually winning. So you keep going and you trust that guidance in that process. You trust your heart to move you through. And as seen in this Chariot card, that big, huge energy behind the person who is shown here upside down and on fire. Their soul's on fire. They're like, oh my God, look at me. I'm going through everything and I got this. In the reverse state, they're like, I actually don't know if I got this. I think I might fall off this chariot, but there's this giant being behind you, and that's your guidance. That's the soul side of this. It's actually bigger than any of the things that seem to be going on here in the physical realm. So trust that, remember that. And even especially when you feel like you've fallen or that things are overwhelming or too big in September, pull that back in, right? Just remind yourself, even if you're not really feeling it in the moment, like I am guided, I trust that, I know that this is part of the process and that it serves my highest good. Make that a mantra, right? And that is the overall message for September. This has been your tarot for September. This has been your reminder that everything good, true, and beautiful is here for you always. And actually, let me remind you of one more thing before we go, and that is that you can have your own tarot reading that's just for you, that's just personal. All these messages are for you. You just got a whole dose of messages for September for you. Sometimes you want to know a little bit more directly, a little bit more, to the nuanced level, exactly what the messages have to say for you. And so you can get your own tarot reading and more. I also offer higher level services like spirit guide sessions where you channel your spiritual guides and allies, or the sound healing session, which is unbelievably, profoundly massive and huge. And so give yourself a whole day if you're going to choose that type of a session. It's a really, really big set of energies that come through and, help release old things that you don't need to hold on to, bring in all the new good energy that can uplift you even more, and just give you all these beautiful messages, connect you with all of your guides. Really, really beautiful. So the readings are great. And there's also these other options. And while we're at it, I'll invite you to One Day of Brightness, talking about September, towards the end of September, and in connection with the equinox. We're already almost at equal light, equal day, right? So connection with the equinox, we've got the One Day of Brightness event, and I'll announce it for the first time here. This is the last One Day of Brightness. This One Day of Brightness has been going on for, I think, 5 years now. 5 years now. And 5 years, every equinox, every solstice, One Day of Brightness has happened. We've brought through beautiful messages, beautiful channeled messages, beautiful blessings, really important teachings, really important practices that you can do just applicable to your life. So you get the blessings, you get the messages, you get this application-based, directly practical gifts out of it, just a whole day of healing. And this is the last one. This is the last one because that's what my guidance told me is true. And in the future, I still will likely do equinox and solstice events. They'll probably be a lot shorter, and they'll probably be a lot more like the Violet Flame Vigils and the Celestial Attunements and the most recent 8/8 Lionsgate and that 22-day water ceremony, and those types of events. They're just a little shorter, still really powerful and compact, but just not a whole day's event. And so One Day of Brightness, this is the last one. So I hope if you've come to any of them, you come to this final One Day of Brightness. I hope if you haven't come to any of them, you come check out how big and powerful these are before they go away. And I really hope to see you all there. So all of that is available both through my site. You can just click on schedule a session. It brings you through, or you can go straight to Calendly, the booking service itself, calendly.com/rogueways, and just book whatever session it is that you're interested in. All of them are powerful and beautiful. All of the events are huge and powerful and beautiful. Group events are honestly where it's at. Like the one-on-one is so big and so huge, but these group events are almost easier to receive even more, and often more accessible to people, a little bit more affordable. So really big, beautiful energies move through all of those options, and I hope to see you at any of them. I will also see you next time. Enjoy your September messages. Let them percolate in. Do a little reflection on them and how they apply to you. And until you do, travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
Glued to these screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones, a holly suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempt to mental robbery. Execute it sloppily, the hypocrisy, this mockery, and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.